What up, though? It's your man CJ Williams tapping in for Culturalist Theory. Yo, Royce the 5'9" has been a mainstay in hip-hop for over 2 decades, steadily building a legacy with his sharp lyricism and powerful collaborations. Best known for his work with Eminem as one half of Bad Meets Evil and 1/4 of the supergroup Slaughterhouse, Royce is a Detroit Titan who's earned both critical acclaim and commercial success. With 8 solo albums under his belt and 2 with Gang Starr's DJ Premier as PRhyme, Royce stands out as one of the most respected lyricists in rap. For today's episode, we're diving into the catalog of an MC who's been elevating the game from Detroit to the world. We learned from our Talib Kweli episode, so today we'll be counting the 2 PRhyme albums, though Bad Meets Evil's Hell EP will be omitted. Finally, like, share, comment, and subscribe. Let's get to it. Number 10, Success is Certain. 2011 is the most prosperous year in Royce's career, which had been tumultuous up to that point. He reunited with his old friend Eminem around that time to reform their duo Bad Meets Evil. This resulted in them releasing Hell, the sequel EP, which went number 1 on Billboard and sold 500,000 copies. The gold plaque for the EP and the platinum one for Single Lighters was another notch in the belt for Eminem in 2011, but Royce's first and only plaques to date. Seizing the opportunity, Royce released his 5th album, Success is Certain, barely 2 months after Hell. Meant to be the polar opposite of his seminal 2nd album, Death is Certain, this LP is more triumphant in tone and upbeat in sound, while maintaining themes that reflect on Royce's status in the game and hip-hop as a whole. While the attempt at recapturing that magic is commendable, the execution is not. Opening with Legendary, Nickel 9 nominates himself to the pantheon of GOATs over electric guitars and Travis Barker's neck-snapping drums. It would be rewindable if it weren't so lyrically overbearing and the beat's riffs wasn't just a cheap ripoff of Sweet Child of Mine. After that comes Writer's Block. On it, Eminem handles ad-libs and part of the chorus as Royce rips a high-intensity beat from Street Runner. Unless you're into the rapid-fire, abrasive barrage of bars in the style of Eminem and Slaughterhouse, it's a bit unbearable. The DJ Premier remix on the end of the album reveals there's actually something redeemable there. And herein lies the issue with not only this album but the lyrical miracle subgenre of hip-hop as a whole. The overemphasis on lyricism makes the raps pedantic instead of fun. It results in rappers forcing the rhyme schemes. For example, Royce says on this album, for no reason at all, "I'll make my kids peanut butter jelly with a machete." No, there isn't a punchline. So if you're a fan of this type of music, we can understand why, because it's skillfully crafted music. But admit it though, you probably also think Eminem's Relapse and Encore are great albums. Number 9, Street Hop. The poor reception to Royce's 3rd album, Independence Day, was the best and worst thing that happened to his artistry. It was positive because Royce saw what the vast majority of his fans wanted from him and decided to deliver from there on. However, doubling down on the hyper-aggressive, dense lyricism and abandoning the bounce for boom bap is a loss, because Royce can do more than bar us to death. 2009 Street Hop is the funeral for the artist we knew at that point and the birth of Royce the 5'9" we know today. After bearing the hatchet with Proof from D12 before he was killed, Royce's relationship with Eminem was still on ice, but he was grinding on the underground, releasing independently on his label MIC, and forging alliances with powerful figures like Diddy and DJ Premier. However, in 2006, Royce suffered a major setback when he was sentenced to a year in jail in Michigan for drunk driving and violating parole. On the Premier-produced track Shake This on Street Hop, Royce goes into detail about losing his friend Eminem, his battle with alcohol, going through the legal system, and more. The 3rd verse ends the song with Nickel rejecting the bottle and promising to push his career full throttle. His pen is really tested to its limits, rapping alongside Busta Rhymes on Dinner Time, Crooked I on Gun Harmonizing, Bun B on Hood Love, and all of the Slaughterhouse on The Warriors. Yet Royce always rises to the occasion and does even more amazing writing on solo songs like the storytelling on Murder, On the Run, and Part of Me. Side note, the second half of almost every Royce album is when he really goes all out. Other standouts are the bombastic baller talk on New Money, the smooth cruising music on Something to Ride To, while Little Brother's Fonte sings the hook, and Gangsta where Royce destroys the mic and Trick Trick does threatening ad-libs. Street Hop, his 4th album, was much better received by critics than his 3rd and landed at a respectable 29 on Billboard's hip-hop album charts. It was well deserved, but there are less than stellar songs sandwiched in between great ones. For example, See Mine and Thiz. that's meant for the clubs but is a dud. The horrible auto-tune used for Royce's singing on Far Away, and Thing for Your Girlfriend that has a line about Diddy and Cassie that has aged incredibly badly. Number 8, Rock City. A debut album is the opportunity for an MC to put their best foot forward. However, the music industry is 10% music and 90% business, and many stars have to align for that introduction to the world to have maximum impact. For Royce da 5'9", the promising talent displayed on his first outing, Rock City, is there, but unfortunately the machine behind the scenes wasn't. Royce earned his name and stripes beginning in the underground Detroit cypher and battle scene in '95. He ended up battling, then befriending a white boy from a trailer park with mommy issues who became the biggest rapper in the world, Eminem. When Shady signed to Dr. Dre's Aftermath Records and released his debut Slim Shady LP, Royce's standout appearance on the track Bad Meets Evil made Dre offer to sign him too for $250,000 and unlimited beats. Royce turned the deal down though because he didn't want to fire his day one manager, instead choosing to sign to Tommy Boy Records for 7 figures. Unfortunately, Royce was too eager for that $1 million check and didn't see the fine print that Tommy Boy would basically own his music. That deal dissolved and Royce took his talent to the major label Columbia in conjunction with minor imprint Game Records in 2000. The album was slated to be released soon after but kept getting delayed for close to 2 years due to Columbia wanting songs for mainstream radio. Eventually, Columbia dropped Royce in late 2001. He then signed to Koch Records, but in the interim, his album that he spent the last 3 years perfecting leaked. He was forced to get back in the booth to make new songs for the majority of the album since most of his music was owned by Columbia. Eventually, after turmoil and toil, Rock City version 2.0 came out in the fourth quarter of 2002 on Koch and Game Recordings. To put into context how much time had been shaved off Royce's rap career, his first single, Boom, produced by DJ Premier, had been released 3 years prior, and Eminem had dropped his third multi-platinum album, The Eminem Show, in the second quarter of 2002. We provide this background to say all these false starts and stops could have permanently arrested Royce's development, and we wouldn't be here now making this list. Despite Rock City being behind the curve then by being released in an era that sonically didn't fit in, it has maintained its status as a quality rap album surely because Royce is that damn good of a lyricist. Yes, the sparse synthetic production from the likes of Red Spider, the Neptunes, Trackmasters, and Ty Fife is definitely a time capsule of what the early 2000s sounded like. But the powerful pen Royce possesses transcends time when concept songs like My Friend and King of Kings are so lyrically dense they'll make you break the rewind button. While it would have been fun to have a verse from Marshall on Rock City, M does his thing playing the background with ad-libs and on the chorus while Royce paints a vivid picture of their home, the Motor City. Detroit is home to some of the most elite spitters to ever grab the mic, but this version of Rock City is much better than the original, which was chock full of lesser known MCs from the D who aren't lyrically Royce's equal. Despite having an iffy start, Royce showed that while the game is 90% business, he was 100% here to stay. Number 7, The Book of Ryan. Let's start by acknowledging that The Book of Ryan, Royce's 9th album, including his Primo collaborations, is a deeply personal and reflective project. While it may not hit as hard or carry the same punches as 2016's Layers, it offers a different kind of listening experience, one that's more introspective and emotional. Released the same year as the second PRhyme record, this autobiographical piece showcases Royce's advanced lyricism in a more subdued and melancholic tone, making it perfect for listeners in a reflective mood. That being said, just because it has a quieter, more introspective vibe doesn't mean it's any less impactful. The album fits a different space than Layers, which had a more balanced mix of light and dark tones. The Book of Ryan leans heavily into personal storytelling, with tracks like Cocaine delving into powerful themes of family struggles and addiction, showcasing Royce's vulnerability. Songs like Boblo Boat with J. Cole and Life is Fair beautifully explore his familiar trauma, giving fans a raw, honest look at his life. Tracks like Godspeed, Dumb featuring Westside Boogie, and Summer on Smash with Fab, Jada, and Pusha T are all standout moments that showcase Royce's versatility. There are also deeply personal songs like Strong Friend, where Royce breaks the rhyme scheme to open up about his past. These raw confessions elevate the album's emotional impact. Royce also branches out artistically on this album, experimenting with more singing and spoken word poetry than on any of his previous works. While this creative risk might not resonate with every listener, it shows his willingness willingness to push boundaries and grow as an artist. Overall, the Book of Ryan is a testament to Royce's growth and evolution as both an artist and a person. It may not have the high energy, gym-ready anthems that some might expect, but it's an undeniable showcase of Royce's storytelling, making it one of his most compelling albums. Number 6, Independence Day. 2005's Independence Day gets a bad rap for having bad raps. Upon its release, only a year after his critically acclaimed second album, Death is Certain, it was lambasted by hip-hop snobs and failed to chart. Revisiting this album as it approaches its 20th anniversary, we can attest that the derision heaped upon Royce's first independent release was undeserved, as this LP is the most important thing music should be: fun. On top of that, Independence Day is Royce embracing the unique Detroit sound that up until that point in his career he was estranged from. If you're not from the Dirty Glove or a fan of their music, you're forgiven for thinking the D sound is more akin to Kill Mom raps of Eminem than it is the witty street lyricism of T Grizzly. On Independence Day, Royce simultaneously blends the sensibilities of lyrical miracle rapping that he mastered with a dose of Southern crunk, West Coast G-Funk, and a heavy heaping of that 313 aesthetic, with production handled largely by local Detroit producer Kid, plus features from local legends like Big Herc and Blade Icewood. Songs like Ride and Chips on Pistons are ready-made for cruising down 7 Mile while sporting Cartier buffs. Taking it down south, Royce preaches from the pulpit about the evils of the industry on politics, while CeeLo Green belts a gospel chorus. Then Yo Gotti and Nickel team up for the Grizzly Looking at My Dog, a song so simple yet great it's a guilty pleasure. Pleasers for the hip-hop purists will find the bars on Blow Dat, produced by Knots, and yeah, with July 6 rewindable. Is Independence Day a reinvention of the wheel? No. But is it entertaining at its core? Hell yeah. Tracks like the menacing Meeting with the Bosses, the pensive track Paranoia with LA the Dark Man, and the mannish Fuck My Brains Out are just straight up exciting and engaging. More so than his debut Rock City, a name nobody calls Detroit, Independence Day is an album comprised of the grit, game, and genres that run through Motor City like Joy Road or Woodward Avenue, but get a bad rap from out-of-towners. Number 5, The Allegory. Royce da 5'9's 2020 album, The Allegory, is an ambitious and thought-provoking project that takes its name from Plato's famous story, The Allegory of the Cave. Understanding this philosophical concept adds layers to the album, which explores themes of enlightenment, truth, and self-discovery. Just as in Plato's Allegory, where prisoners mistake shadows for reality until one escapes to see the truth, Royce uses this framework to navigate the illusions of materialism, street life, and the rap game. Right from the opening track, Mr. Grace, Royce sets the tone for the album, explicitly stating that the first half, titled Death of the Dope Man, reflects the world of shadows and illusions. Across tracks like Dope Man, I Play Forever with Graph, and Overcomer with Westside Gunn, Royce plays the role of a drug-dealing gangster, showing the allure and deception of that lifestyle. Despite the non-linear storytelling, Royce's sharp lyrical abilities shine throughout, especially on tracks like Thou Shall, I Don't Age, and On the Block, where his wordplay and flow remind listeners why he's one of the best to ever do it. As the album progresses, Royce's journey from darkness to enlightenment becomes clear. The second half of the album, featuring songs like FUBU with Conway the Machine, Tricked with Crooked Eye, and Black Savage with T.I., showcase Royce's transformation into a man who has escaped the cave and now sees the world for what it truly is. These tracks deliver powerful messages on social consciousness and self-awareness, highlighting Royce's growth as an artist. Rhinestone Do-Rag further crystallizes the album's message, pointing out that the materialism often glorified in rap is nothing but an illusion. At the age of 45, Royce da 5'9 deserves major credit for evolving beyond pure lyrical prowess and using his platform to tackle deeper, more meaningful subject matter. The Grammy nomination for The Allegory as Best Rap Album in 2021 further solidifies its impact, marking Royce's first nomination in that category. A huge milestone, even if the award went to Nas for King's Disease. While Royce has taken creative risk by producing the majority of the album himself, which some feel didn't resonate as well as his past collaborations with top-tier producers, this experimentation reflects his desire to grow as an artist. Tracks like I Play Forever, produced by DJ Green Lantern, and On the Block, produced by DJ Premier, serve as a reminder of the power of outside collaboration. However, Royce's decision to handle the bulk of the production shows his dedication to expanding his skill set and pushing boundaries. Ultimately, the Allegory is a testament to Royce's maturity, artistry, and willingness to confront hard truths. He has evolved into an artist unafraid to challenge the status quo, both lyrically and musically, and that courage to break new ground is something to be celebrated. Number 4, PRhyme 2, PRhyme. The P stands for Premier, the R stands for Royce da 5'9", just in case you were late to the party. PRhyme is a concept where they take one artist's sound and then they flip it into the Primo style. We got the sequel in 2018 based on the samples from beatmaker Ant-Man Wonder. Much props to PRhyme for providing the raspy voiced interlude 1 that broke it all down, making this a much easier intro to write. In many ways, PRhyme 2 sounds like what Street Hop and Success is Certain should have been. Tracks that blend mellow boom bap with gangster lyrics like Respect My Gun with Rock Marciano, the neck-snapping MC Tutorial Rocket, and the in-your-face slapper WOW featuring Yellow Wolf are all quintessential hip-hop with that added edge of abrasiveness that comes from the trenches. Just like the first PRhyme, the second is loaded with features from some of the best spitters around, though not as much as before. Dave East eats up the track along with Royce on Era. Big Crit's Southern Drawl delivers a rewindable verse on the soulful Made Man. Rhapsody graces the mic on Loved One. Hell, even 2 Chainz, a rapper known for making strip club anthems, drops one of his most lyrical 16s on Flirt, one of our favorite songs on here. However, there isn't a star on here that shines brighter than Royce, and his solo songs Black History, one of the hardest, Streets at Night, and especially Rocket are full of bars that could make a stoic screw his face up. Primo and Royce's second venture together on their indie label that they started together was even more successful than the first, peaking at number 40 on Billboard 200, 19 spots higher than the first. Yeah, we'd love to hear a third installment in the series, and if Royce or Primo are listening, consider sampling 5-time Grammy-winning black pianist Robert Glasper. Royce already worked with him on the Book of Ryan, and his 2023 EP, Enigmatic Society, is dying to be chopped to Primo style. Anyway, PRhyme 2 is the baseline for which all other Royce albums should be judged, because while it's not pushing the envelope, it is the bar Nickel 9 is more than capable of meeting when his mind is on the mission. Number 3, PRhyme. This is for the real hip-hop niggas who will never ask me, are you here to replace Guru? Raps Royce da 5'9" on You Lose on his 5th album, PRhyme. Well, technically, this is the debut of the duo with DJ Premier, but Royce raps on every track and it's too dope not to count. The deluxe version with 13 tracks is the one we're reviewing because the shorter one with 9 songs is just the tip of the iceberg. The group PRhyme was a long time coming, but one welcomed by fans because Premier had appeared on almost every Royce album and mixtape up until this point in 2013. What makes this record different than previous Primo records is that Premier's signature style of sampling various obscure records was paused. Every beat on the first PRhyme LP samples composition from Adrian Young, the prolific music composer who has done it all from score movies like Michael Jai White's 2009 cult classic Black Dynamite to produce for everyone from Kendrick Lamar, Jay-Z, Fat Joe, and more. So how does the album sound? Yo, if aliens were ever asked what is hip-hop, just beam this one up. Not only is Royce killing these beats with nimble flows and even more intricate lyrics, this album is chock full of elite MCs, MF Doom, Common, Black Thought, Jay Electronica, Schoolboy Q, Joey Badass, and all of Slaughterhouse. I mean, come on, the feature list almost sounds like a dream hip-hop festival lineup. Everyone brings their A game and sounds supreme over production from PRhyme. It's hard to pick favorite tracks on here, but top 5 would be Highs and Lows with MF Doom and Fonte, To Me To You with Jay Electronica, Wishing featuring Common, You Should Know with singer Dwele, and That Sound Good with Ab-Soul and Mac Miller. Speaking about the commercial success of this album feels almost disrespectful because this is culture beyond commerce, but it peaked at number 59 on Billboard 200. Royce may not be filling the shoes of Guru, but his performance on PRhyme showed that him and PRhyme create art that carries the torch. Guru would be proud. Number 2, Death Is Certain. How can I go from rocking with Dre to falling out with Shady to popping my Glock to dropping on Koch? Is what Royce asked himself on the 10th track on his second album, Death Is Certain. On what many early followers of Royce claim to be his magnum opus, Nickel 9 confronts his demons and shortcomings as a man on nearly every song. He has even been quoted as saying he can't listen to this album because it's so dark and personal. That's because, as mentioned before, Royce fell out with Marshall as well as the Doc, waged a one-man lyrical war against all of D12, then abandoned by the industry to wallow in depression exacerbated by his alcoholism. Left for dead, Royce resurrected himself by channeling all of the negativity in his life into art on Death is Certain. Mostly produced by Carlos July 6 Brody, who was a part of the Bad Boy Records Hitman crew, the lyrically dark themes on Everybody Goes and Something's Wrong with Him are matched with equally evocative beats like My Downfall or Niggas Bleed from Big's Life After Death, records that July 6 produced as well. This record is devoid of anything for the club or the ladies. Instead, it's a meditation on the genre like hip-hop, produced by DJ Premier, jewels from a man who's seen what the game will do to you, such as What I Know, prayers to God for another chance at life like on I Promise, contemplations on death like It Hurts and Today, as well as lyrically dense gangsta music like Beef and Bomb First. The many references to lessons Dr. Dre taught him and the regret Royce feels for not signing to Aftermath don't make him come across as a pitiful soul, but rather a man who knows he has greatness within him but made missteps on the path to realization. That vulnerability, paired with his above par bars, made Death is Certain resonate with critics who lauded it. Despite the very limited promo budget from Koch, the fans whose word of mouth made this album peak at 39 on Billboard's hip-hop album charts. Bottom line, this album saved Royce's career, plus gave us musical gems to always revisit. Death might be certain, but Nickel 9 showed reincarnation is possible. Number 1, Layers. While the blockbuster Broadway play Hamilton can be criticized for abetting the continued gentrification of the genre, we can give props to Lin-Manuel Miranda for inspiring Royce da 5'9's 7th album, Layers. On the title track, Hard, from this 2016 LP, Royce says Hamilton changed his life and inspired him to start writing scripts and screenplays. We don't have a film or stage production yet credited to Ryan Montgomery, but Layers is close enough. This 17-track album is brutally biographical as Royce reveals his life's highs and lows over lush, ever-evolving production from DJ Khalil, Knots, Jake One, Mr. Porter, and more. Primo is noticeably absent, but Royce was probably trying to strike out on his own since this came out after the first PRhyme record. Layers opens with Tabernacle, which is Royce's inspiring come-up story that has a bittersweet ending with his grandma passing away on the same day his first son was born. After that, he builds on bearing his soul in the confessional booth with Pray, before celebrating success with Hard, then reminiscing on where the hunger came from on Starter Code. Throughout the album, there is a narrative that begins to take form after the banger Wait, where Royce is a successful rapper fighting temptation to remain faithful to his wife. That results in the second half of the album having some of the flyest songs in Royce's catalog about the classic trappings of success for MCs: money, hoes, cars, and clothes. Flesh, Hello, Mrs., then Dope is one of the illest storytelling runs we've heard on a track list outside of a K-Dot, Ice Cube, or Slick Rick album. Even though the record is meant to tell a story, the narrative doesn't get in the way of songs like Gotta Know, Quiet, and Layers with Rick Ross and Pusha T, which can be enjoyed by themselves. The plot doesn't overpower the music, though some subject matter is so touching it could move one to tears when you peel back the layers on the onion. When Layers was released, it became Royce's first #1 album to debut on Billboard's top rap album charts and earned more than 1.7 million streams his first week. That was more than well deserved. Revealing everything Royce says about himself and the world here feels like spoiling a great movie for those who haven't seen it yet. All we'll say is this is an audio film you got to hear if you haven't, or the soundtrack to a great Broadway play you have to hear again. Yo, if this list got you fired up, just wait until you see our rankings for other Detroit legends. Check out our breakdown of the real Slim Shady here, and dive into our take on Big Sean here. Don't forget, there's more Culturalist Theory coming your way soon. I'm CJ for CT. Stay tuned. Peace.